The type of man that you allow into your life matters. This man is either going to help elevate you or he's going to drain you. So how do you know the difference between a man who is divine, toxic, or just wounded? In this video, we're going to be talking about the 3 types of masculine energies so you can clearly know the difference. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Abby, and in this video we are going to be speaking about masculine energies in men. And this is really important because as women, these are our partners, these are our boyfriends, our fiancés, our husbands, and it's really good to know what kind of energy that your man is sitting in and maybe how you got there. So let's break it down. Number 1 is divine masculine energy. This is the type of man that we all dream about. This is a man who is healthy, healed, and aligned. He comes across as the wise king and the protector energy. So he is extremely protective of you as a woman and of you as his woman, but not in a controlling way. This is a man who is emotionally mature, emotionally intelligent, and emotionally available. He knows that he is allowed to feel his emotions. He has balanced his masculine and feminine energies, and emotions are not something that he runs from anymore. He allows himself to feel, and he gives himself space for those emotions to be felt. So if he's allowing that for himself, you better believe he's going to allow that for you too. This is a man who is a protector and a provider. He does not just provide financially, but he provides spiritually and emotionally as well. And this is because he knows as a woman how much of a treasure you really are. Men want to make sure that you are provided for on this earth so that you feel safe, secure, and stable. Why? They are so tied to their lower 3 chakras, which is the earth realm. The women, as feminines, we are so tied to our upper 3 chakras, which is the spiritual realm. And he wants to make sure that we feel safe here on earth so that when we go to war in the spiritual realm, we feel safe to do so. If we're fighting on earth to be here and feel safe and have a place here, and we're also fighting the spiritual, that is extremely exhausting. Men who are in their true masculine essence know that they need to provide that safety for you. And it's going to be in all 3 categories. This is a man who lives with purpose. He has direction. He knows who he is and he knows where he's going. This is a man who lives with integrity. He shows up and keeps his word. This is a man who sees women as sacred. He knows who you are. He sees the divinity within you because he sees the divinity within himself. He knows that you have the most amazing spiritual gifts that are going to bless his life if he blesses you as well. And he knows that you are so attached to the divine, that you are so connected to God. You are the seer, the oracle, the matriarch, the mother. You are so many beautiful things, and he recognizes that within you. And he does not treat you like an object to be used, someone who is just arm candy or a trophy. He sees you as divine. A classic example of this man would be Jesus Christ. Jesus was full of love, leadership, protection, and purpose. The second example of divine masculine energy is Denzel Washington. He is known for having deep wisdom, very deep faith and connection to God, and he loves and honors his family. These are all divine masculine qualities. So how you attract a divine masculine man is you are in your divine feminine essence. Like attracts like. You have overcome and dealt with your demons, your traumas, your wounding, your toxicity, and you are a match for this type of man. If you meet a man like this and you are still acting out of all of your wounding, you're either going to push him away where he walks away from you because he can see that you haven't done the inner work and he is on his throne, he's in his divinity and he's seeing you, knowing that you are divine, but you don't know it. So he's going to walk away until you have learned who you are. Or you're going to come into this man's world and it's going to be too much work for you to be with him because he has standards, he has boundaries, and you don't know what that's like because of all the relationship problems that you had, the childhood wounds that you have. So you're going to walk away from him because that's not the type of man that you're looking for. The next is wounded masculine energy. This is the man who comes across as the lost warrior or the wounded lover. Now, these men are not bad men, but they do have wounds within themselves. And ladies, it is not your job to fix a man. I know that even divine feminines, sometimes they lower down into the realm of these men, into that lower vibrational frequency because they want to help them. They want to sit with them and hold their hands and help them remember who they are, which is divine. But these men have to do it on their own. It is very sweet of you to want to help him through that, but inspire him without lowering. Stay on your throne, stay in your frequency, stay with your standards, stay with your worth and value of yourself. Let him see you in your divinity and give him the honor of rising on his own into his own divinity. Let him chase you where you are instead of coming down to meet him. That's taking away that beautiful gift of allowing him to see himself. So the wounded masculine energy shows up as a man who is unhealed, insecure, and driven by fear. These men feel deeply inadequate, but they typically cover it up with either arrogance or self-deprecation. And because they feel deeply inadequate, they are going to constantly be trying to prove themselves, to prove that they are worthy, to prove that they are successful, to prove that they are enough. And this is going to cause them to seek external validation because they feel a hole within themselves. They don't feel like they are seen or heard or appreciated or loved. They're going to be seeking that external validation through women, success, status, money, all kinds of things, material objects, and that makes them feel good temporarily. It's like a little band-aid that they put over the wound that they don't want to look at, and they are trying to pull from another what they could be giving to themselves, but they just forgot how. And this is why it can be dangerous to entertain these types of men, because they are going to pull from you what they don't have within them. So now who has the hole? It's you. You have something empty within you, and you're going to have to keep replenishing your energy just for them to pull it away from you. And your energy is so precious. I said this on another one of my videos that I worked extremely hard to heal myself, and if you want that same type of energy where I'm at in frequency, you got to do the work. You can't keep pulling it away from me and keeping it for yourself. That's not the way that this goes anymore. I value myself and my energy so much that I'm not going to freely give it to somebody who is just taking from me. And this happens a lot of the times unconsciously, but sometimes it's conscious as well. So please be aware of that. These men typically tend to be emotionally unavailable, emotionally immature, and they have a fear of vulnerability and a fear of rejection and abandonment. So I see this a lot in relationships that I've been in and relationships that I've heard other women be in as well, where they get close to a man and everything is going really well and they're really happy, and it's like you're really starting to like him and he pulls away. He starts ghosting you. He's not as nice to you anymore. He feels very cold and distant. He's not planning things anymore. And you're wondering, like, what happened? Things were going so well. And it's because of these fears that he has within himself. He fears that the closer that he gets to you, the more vulnerable that he's going to have to be. And that scares him. He feels that the closer he gets to you, the more at risk he is for rejection and abandonment, which is going to highlight this hole within himself that he is not dealing with. And that's going to further prove to him the story that he is not enough because you've left him, you've rejected him, and they don't want to even get close to that scenario. So they're going to start pushing away before that can even come true. And these men typically tend to be very passive and lack direction and purpose. And this is another reason why these types of men are dangerous to date, because if he has no direction in his life, my love, he is going to lead you down a dark alleyway. And he is going to make you feel lost as well. So if you're in this type of relationship where you are feeling lost, you feel like you have no direction, life feels like you're spinning your wheels, you're stuck in a hamster wheel and you're running in a circle, this might be why. So pay attention to the type of energies that you are surrounding yourself with and be really honest with yourself. I know it's hard because we want to love these men and we want to love them into loving themselves enough to do the work, but they have to make that choice for themselves. 2 examples of men who sit in wounded masculine energy is, number 1, Will Smith. He feels like he needs to prove himself and prove his worth. If you've been following anything with celebrities, it's been dragged through the mud, his poor relationship. And now he feels like he has to prove that he is worthy for love and worthy of being in the relationship that he's in. He is also emotionally reactive. We've all seen the video. I think it was the Oscars. And that is a man in wounded masculine energy. The second type of man in wounded masculine energy is Drake. He comes across as very charismatic, but he has deep emotional wounds which come out in most of the lyrics in his songs. And to cover up this wound, he seeks validation from women. All right, and the final masculine energy. This one's really hard for me to get through, so I'm going to try to not be spicy, but these men really upset me. Toxic masculine energy. This man comes across in tyrant and manipulator energy. He is harmful, manipulative, and ego-driven. This man is going to be very controlling because he views women as less than, and he is going to want to dominate you. He wants to be the alpha in a very unhealthy way. He does not view you as special in your own divine, unique gifts. He views you as less. This is a man who sees women as objects, and they are literally always hypersexual. These men are men that are addicted to sex, addicted to corn. They are always looking at younger women. They're checking out other women when you're in public. These men have deep issues. And they believe that masculinity is about dominance, not about leadership. They don't know how to be a leader. So that's why they want to be that dominant alpha, because they don't understand how to be a leader. They don't understand that divine, masculine, healthy quality. And just like toxic feminine energy in women, toxic masculine energy in men tends to be the narcissist. So these men are emotionally manipulative. They are gaslighters, they are liars, they play games with you, they lack accountability, and they will intimidate you. And because these men have lost the power within themselves, they've lost their divinity, they've lost their connection to God, they seek power through other people. They want to have power over you instead of over themselves. There are 2 men that fall into toxic masculinity that I'm going to bring up in this video. Number 1 is Andrew Tate. He is extremely loud. His ego is very inflated. He is a man who promotes control, dominance, and objectification. The second man is my worst nightmare. This is someone who my ex-boyfriend used to look up to, so big red flag. Big red flag. Dan Bilzerian. This man is hypersexual and he promotes this and glorifies it. And I do want to say that if you are with a man who thinks that this is cool or likes that type of lifestyle. This man, Dan Bilzerian, comes across as a man who has it all. He's got the women, he's got the success, he's got the money, he's got the lifestyle, he's got the cars, he's got the homes, he's got the travel. He has so many things. Why? Because he is empty inside. These types of men need to fill a void, and you can see clearly, which I couldn't at the time. I was just very jealous. But now that I am healing this energy within myself, I can see that this man is very sad. I can see that he has so much wounding and toxicity within himself. He hates his inner feminine, which means he hates women. And yes, he may be surrounded by them all the time, but he is not treating them well. And those girls, because they are allowing themselves to be in the company of a man like that, they also hate themselves. They hate their inner feminine. So if your man likes to think that is cool or looks up to a man like that, or who thinks that open relationships and corn is normal, please, my sweet girl, run from this man. This man is going to not only drain you, but he is literally going to suck you dry. What do you think happens to these women when a man like Dan Bilzerian or Andrew Tate is done with them? They are completely depleted. They have nothing left inside themselves. He took all of their life force energy to build his life up. So what are they left with at the end of the day? Nothing. And over time, this is awful. And this is what happens to girls in that type of industry. They entertain a man like that and they get depleted and they start turning to terrible things to fill that hole within themselves. Because like I said, when that type of man, either the wounded or the toxic, has a hole within himself that he's seeking externally to fill that, now who has the hole? It's you. So really paying attention to this. If you see a man in his toxic masculine energy, I'm going to get it closer here. If you see a man in his toxic masculine energy, you cannot fix him. You cannot love him into his healing. That is a type of man that you need to run very far away from. He may never figure out that he is toxic. Narcissistic wounds are extremely deep, and it is not your job to love him through that. Let him go. Heal yourself so you do not attract a man like that ever again. Sit on your throne. And I'm speaking to the younger version of myself because I really needed to hear that. I really needed someone to slap me upside the head and say, stay the heck away from this type of man. With the wounded masculine energy, one thing that I didn't mention is if you're attracting that type of man in your life, it's probably because you have wounds within you that you need to heal. And sometimes we can heal ourselves in these relationships, and sometimes we have to heal outside of them. So you're going to need to make that decision for yourself. If you feel like the relationship is a safe place for you to heal, then maybe that's exactly where you're supposed to be. If you feel like you are spinning your wheels in this relationship and it's going nowhere and you're getting either worse or just more lost, then you know that you need to make a different choice. With toxic masculine men, how you attract those types of men into your life is you also have toxicity, or you've been putting up with toxicity. So you need to decide for yourself that you are going to stop drinking poison and you're going to heal yourself, or you're going to start setting some really strong boundaries and loving yourself into not allowing that type of behavior in your life anymore. From this moment on, you get to choose. So I hope that this helped you understand the energies in men so you can make better choices for yourself. I know that it's hard because as divine feminines in training, we don't always sit in our divinity. We are learning how to do that. But if you're in a relationship who is constantly pulling that throne away from you and kicking your crown off your head, you gotta make a different choice. And I believe that you, as the daughter of a king, are going to make those choices. You're here watching this video because you want better, because you know you deserve better, because you know you are worthy. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please share it with someone who could use similar information, and don't forget to like and subscribe.